Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for All About Android is provided by CacheFly at CacheFly.com.
This episode of All About Android is brought to you by Blue Apron. Blue Apron will send you all the ingredients to cook fresh, delicious meals with simple step-by-step instructions right to your door. See what's on the menu this week and get your first 2 meals free by going to blueapron.com/twit. That's blueapron.com/twit. And by PagerDuty. PagerDuty decreases alerting noise for IT operations and developers to ensure that the right engineers are notified at the right time. Increase your uptime and sign up for a 14-day free trial at pagerduty.com/twit. And by Gazelle, the fast and simple way to sell your used gadgets. Find out what your used HTC and other Android devices are worth at gazelle.com. Hello and welcome to another episode of All About Android, episode 217, recorded on Tuesday, June 9th, 2015. We're your weekly source for the latest news, hardware, and apps for the Android faithful. I'm Jason Howell.
I'm Ron Richards.
From an undisclosed location, not the Bahamas, though.
Not the Bahamas, and definitely not in New York.
Definitely not. That doesn't look like New York at all.
No, not at all. Nope. But yes, I am back. I'm well rested. I'm tan. I was bummed to have missed the Post.io show, but hey, you got to make choices in life sometimes.
You got to do what you got to do. I know Bahamas. Something.
Yes.
I'm so jealous.
Well, I can give you a little sample of what I experienced. Bryan, I sent you over a link that you can show a little postcard from the Bahamas of while you guys were breaking down the I/O information. I was sitting on a beach. Not that one. Well, that's me in front of a.
What's going on? I think I had a special.
I
think I had a special cookie.
Yeah, right.
Okay, all right.
No, go down a page. Go down.
Old one.
There it is.
Yeah.
Look at that happy face.
So that's me drinking a pina colada out of a coconut. So there you go.
Yeah. So. I think we may have seen that photo last week. A little bit. I'm jealous, man. I need a tropical vacation like bad.
And we should get to our guest, but it was a vacation, but it was also, I was there for a wedding. So it was kind of like one of those things where I was only there for a couple of days so it was really nice. It was great to sit on the beach for a few days and unfortunately missed the I/O breakdown, but I could have used like another week, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I hear you. I went to the Philippines like a couple of years ago for a wedding, and it was like, yay, Philippines, here for a wedding. So it was like, had all this stuff to do the whole time. So it was kind of like I wasn't in the Philippines, but anyways, yes, let's welcome our guest, Florence Ion of PC World. How you doing, Florence?
Good.
I
want to go on a vacation too.
I know, right?
I strongly recommend it, really.
Everyone should take a vacation at least once in their life.
And if you can plan it immediately after the largest event of the sector that you're an expert in, that's the best timing as well too. So there you go.
I can only take vacation when basically all the phones are done being announced,
which happens.
Is like in the summer with all the other kids when it's extremely expensive to go anywhere. So
oh man, those kind of restrictions. I can't live like that. When I need the beach, I need it. Like,
I know.
Ain't no phone getting in the way of that.
Like Apple, Android has like a million products.
Yeah, no,
through,
it's true.
So.
Releasing all the time.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, there aren't a whole lot of hardware like items being released this week, as you'll see when we get to the hardware section. But we do have other things to talk about. A few missed I/O details. So we, of course, covered I/O a lot last week. I'm curious to hear what you guys thought, because Florence, you were there. Ron, you weren't, but I'm sure you followed it. We'll talk about that. Motorola's newfound devotion to camera quality, or so they say. Believe it when I see it. An improved Android TV Play Store experience, which is so long overdue. And Apple coming to Android. And that's not a joke. But before we get to the news, I think it's important that we show Ron a little something that happened last week.
Well,
Ron,
I just heard a lot of, I got back to the States and, you do the checking and stuff. I'm like, how'd the show go? And I just heard lots of rumblings. I don't exactly know what is coming, but I know something happened.
Let's just say you weren't on the show, but in some ways you kind of were, as you'll see.
Ow.
I am wrong.
It's like he's here with us.
It's amazing. I'm running out of things to say because I'm great at this accent.
Tell us about some comic books, Ron.
Comic books are the best. I like the ones from Marvel, or is it DC? DC.
Ron's going to kill
You're not really
me.
a comic book enthusiast, are you, Ron?
I know a lot more about comics than you may imagine.
Ron's going to kill me.
For a split second, it went to the wide shot, and the monitor was empty, and I thought you had just dropped off. You're like, I'm out of here. But no, that was last week's episode.
Well done. I'm not mad at you, Brian. I applaud the effort. You did some great lining up on the face there.
Yeah,
That's
I was
amazing.
pretty impressed with it, too.
Yeah,
and big props to Russell Ivanovic of Shifty Jelly, last week's guest, who does an eerily similar impression.
Well, that's the thing. I watched the show, so I didn't see that because that took place after the show. But I watched the show, and he did that impression at the top of the show. I was like, dear God, is that what I sound like? But,
I think that's just what any American sounds like to an Australian when they're trying to impersonate.
Which, let's be honest, after years of us going shrimp on the bobby,
exactly.
I guess it's deserved.
We deserve it. Yeah. We deserve it. All right. So without further ado, Brian, take us to news.
It's not like going to the beach and having a Bahama mama, but it's the next best thing with Android news.
I thought maybe you were going to get to shrimp on the bobby somehow for whatever reason.
That was
okay. Next time.
Next time, yeah.
Next time. Okay, so obviously last week we talked all about Google I/O. Spent the entire long episode on Google I/O as we normally do. Ron, you weren't here for that. Florence, obviously you weren't here last week, but you were at Google I/O. I ran into you a couple of times at the show, so I'm just kind of curious to know.
Last week?
Or what's that?
Was it just last week?
Well, last week we did our wrap up.
No, I mean, I feel like, gosh, it's been like
Isn't
months.
it weird? Yeah, it's been a couple. Now it's been like 10 days or I don't know how long.
Yeah, like a week and a half.
Yeah.
Like a week and a half ago. Yeah.
So I'm curious to know what you guys think. Get your thoughts on things, and we've had a couple of weeks to kind of think about some of the announcements and everything. I don't know. What are your thoughts? What's something that really stood out for you, Ron?
Well, I mean, so I wasn't at I/O, as you mentioned. I was actually here in New York, although I feel like I lived it because I had a great time doing the live coverage with Leo and Gina and Aaron. That was awesome. Long, 2.5 hours, but it was a lot of fun. And then I talked to Megan on Tech News tonight. And then in between that, I went over and talked to Tom on Daily Tech News.
Wow.
So I made the rounds on that day.
You were in demand that day.
Yeah, but it was funny because I really needed to, because of that, we needed to make a lot of snap judgments and all this sort of stuff. And since then, I've been able to go back and look through it all and kind of digest what they announced. And I mean, I don't know if I'm in the minority or not, but I would describe this I/O as underwhelming. Okay. I thought some of the stuff was stuff that we already knew about. Like we knew Google Photos was coming, and I thought the Google Photos thing was better than what I thought it would have been. But I thought I was really disappointed with Android Wear. I was kind of questioning the whole the VR and the cardboard and the GoPro thing. Like that seemed cool, but it wasn't as ready for consumer as I would have hoped. And all in all, I mean, we talked about wondering whether Android M would be coming or not. I think it might be too soon for Android M. I still want Lollipop to get some legs under it. So I'm kind of more on I wasn't really thrilled by it. So yeah.
Florence, how about you? What did you think? Were you as disappointed as Ron?
I agree with Ron. I agree with Ron. It was very underwhelming. I mean, I was also live blogging the keynote, and that was a lot of work. And it was kind of hard for me to actually pay attention to everything going on because it was just all this information, popping at me as I'm like trying to focus on talking with everybody online. But afterwards, I sort of took it all in, and I realized that there's no reason for me to be excited about Android M because it's not coming out and, for a couple of more months. It's still being refined. And the most exciting thing was Google Photos. And I kind of want to bring up the fact that I'm bummed that WWDC has all but kind of kicked Google I/O out of the limelight a little bit. And I think that's because of how underwhelming it was this year.
Apple kind of has that ability, though, right?
I know, but it's just, Macworld peeps, they were all, and my colleagues who are also my peeps, they were, excited about Google Photos, and there were some like cross-platform announcements, but now it's just kind of like, I don't know. What are we waiting for?
But the thing is, I think with Apple and WWDC, which happened today, I mean, that's because Google I/O was 10 days ago, and of course it's going to steal some of the spotlight. But I was as equally underwhelmed by or it was yesterday. When was it? Was it yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday. I'm sorry. When you're on vacation,
it all blends together, even when you're not on vacation.
Right, yeah, exactly. But I was as equally underwhelmed with WWDC. I thought WWDC was not anything to get excited about at all. And I don't know how it took them 2.5 hours to announce 3 or 4 things. So I don't know. Yeah. I mean, the thing is that I talked to Justin Robert Young a lot about this on Twitter, and also when I did DTNS, and we were talking about these events have been built up to, like that I/O where Sergey and the skydivers or whatever built our expectations so high now, where it was kind of like, this is our keynote and this is our, kind of, Steve Jobsian, kind of announcement moment. And the reality is that I/O as well as WWDC are developer conferences. And as such, they should be boring because they're going into deep things, which are extremely interesting. I mean, the APIs for, I thought one of the best things out of Google I/O was the Google Now on Tap, which I think is awesome. And I found that really interesting. Some of the stuff about Google Pay and things like that, I think those are all kind of things, but this is not the, whiz bang fireworks, consumer facing show. And I think we built up.
I totally agree. At the same time, it sucks. There was there's no real demonstration of anything. I mean, there were a couple of demonstrations of like Android Pay, but there's no demonstration of Now on Tap. I did the demonstration of the new expeditions for education, and maybe almost barf. That was great.
But it was that good? It was that good? You were just like,
apparently there's like scientific reasoning for why it almost made me barf.
No,
is the fact that I'm a woman.
Oh.
Another strike against me and my gender. And the other fact is that it like runs at 60 hertz or whatever. And apparently that's like really bad. But anyway, yes, I agree with Ron wholeheartedly. Very underwhelming. And there was nothing like tangible, unless you're going to go and install the Android M dev preview. But really, it's an unstable version.
Yeah, but so the alternative to the dev preview release, which is what Google is obviously doing now with their new versions of Android, is that we don't see it for months and then suddenly there it is in November. Would you rather have early access to it, or are you just saying like, I actually don't want that, I just want it to come out when it's ready for everybody?
I think it's because I guess Apple does the same thing, right? And they've been doing that for years.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the model now, is to like pre-announce it, say this is stuff that we're working on, this is what we want developers to help us build up, which totally makes sense. But as a consumer, it's kind of a bummer because there's nothing that I can play with or try out or really anything if I'm just a regular old person.
And then it also begs the question, a chicken and the egg question, whereas are we getting Android M because Android M is ready for developers to start playing with it and give them feedback, or because I/O was scheduled for late May?
Well,
you know what I mean?
Okay, along those lines, though, I will say I've been running Android M on my Nexus 6, not like a secondary device, on my main device since Google I/O, because I was stupid and didn't bring a backup device to install it onto. So I was like, okay, well, whatever. I'll just put it on my Nexus 6 and live with it for a while. Turns out it's incredibly stable. I have a few issues with it. My main issue at this point are 2 things. I think I mentioned it last week. Evernote doesn't work, and whatever. That'll get dealt with, and that's not a deal breaker for most people, I think. For me, maybe a little bit, but I've learned to deal with it. And then 2, Android Wear isn't working right now all the time. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Whatever. I mean, I'm realizing actually in the last 10 days how non-essential Android Wear is, because I haven't been using it, and now I'm just like, I'll just leave it at home instead of like flash back to Lollipop. But I will say that M is pretty darn stable, especially for developer preview, and especially compared to the Lollipop developer preview, and we're going to get monthly updates on it. So I think it's actually a better situation than last year. What's that?
What you're saying? Are you saying Lollipop was our Vista?
Oh, wow. I don't know if I'm saying that.
Okay, I know. I was just trying to make a joke, but I didn't realize how deep that question was.
See, that cuts hard. That cuts hard. No, I'm saying that, of course, last year's I/O is going to be crazy because what they did is they completely gave Android a facelift, both behind the scenes and in the user experience. It's hard to follow that up with a next version, but you know that they're not going to change things entirely because everybody, all the developers in particular, are working hard to kind of bring their apps up for compatibility and to play nice with all the changes that happened just a year ago. So we're kind of stuck with this kind of stuff for the next few years at least. I don't think it's a bad thing.
But then not to be a nudge or not to be annoying or whatever, but so then does it justify a release? Does it justify a letter? You know what I mean? Like, you really think so? You really think this is a version release?
It doesn't have a name yet. It does have a letter because it's in the alphabet, but it doesn't have a name yet.
Right. It doesn't have a name. It will have a letter, which basically means that Google sees it as a significant step up from the previous release. And I understand what you're saying, Ron, is does it deserve that or should it be a point thing like they did with Jelly Bean?
Should be 5.5 or,
One of the things that I was going to point out in kind of the next block here is that Doze, which is the low power battery saving blah, 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 that everybody was like, yeah, what do I care if it does better in standby? I'll show you something. Here, go ahead and take my over-the-shoulder shot, and I'll show you something here. This is my Nexus 6. I've had it unplugged since 6 a.m., and you can see that it's at 79%. And I've been using it all day.
You're kidding me.
I'm not kidding you at all. And that's because how do I use my phone at work? Like, I guarantee you, before M, this was somewhere around 2010, if not, close to have to charge it right about this time. Even though all I've done all day is be at the studio, set it down, use it sometimes, set it down. But it's what it does when it's set down and it's just hanging out and it's sipping now as opposed to normal juice guzzling,
drinking.
And it's an impact. It's a huge impact.
That's one of the ones that I definitely identified as being a sleeper hit of the announcements because it was like one of the last things they mentioned in the update on Android M and like all this other thing. We're like, battery, battery life. They always say that, but like when I dove into what they were explaining and how Doze worked, the first thing I thought was like, that's going to be cool. That's going to be something that I will get a lot of use out of because my Nexus 5, I'm battery just, it's not making it through the day anymore, like with all the use that I'm doing or whatnot, I got to charge it probably usually like around 5 o'clock or so. Yep. So, that's interesting to hear. So,
probably a little different if you have it in your pocket all the time because then it's moving and I don't think Doze really does what it's meant to do unless it's just sitting there static on a desk. But at least in my work environment, it's sitting on the desk happens a lot, yet I still use it a lot. But I've noticed tangible difference as far as battery life there is concerned. And that's, I think, a huge deal because battery is always sucked on Android unless you had a really huge one. And
that's the thing is like we play Google I/O bingo and as at what point we should go back to every keynote to talk to see how they say it's going to improve battery life every time. Yeah. So it's nice to see that actually works. But
also most Android phones are third-party ones, and so who's to say that that's all going to be implemented or work with whatever the OEMs are going to put out? So that's another thing that we have to jump through.
Of course.
And
always,
and not to be totally kind of poo-pooing on I/O, but I did find the Internet of Things section really compelling and really interesting, and I think that's the kind of thing I want to see at this. Like that's kind of like
they didn't speak very much on it. They kind of just left it like, hey,
it exists.
It's cool.
It's this thing we did. Whatever, we'll get to it.
It was more than Android Wear. I mean, Android Wear was like, hey, here's everything we rolled out 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. I thought that was weird. Like, why are we talking? Come on, guys. We did a whole thing about this a couple weeks ago. I've already written about this many times.
Yeah.
There were too many stick pokes at Apple in the keynote, if you ask me. Like, there are too many things
Apple
where like
did it to them too.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the kind of thing that gets me annoyed, Sure. But the Internet of Things one, I'm excited about. I think that's a platform that could be really interesting that I want to keep my eye on now. So,
Yep. Okay, cool stuff. Few other things that we missed from last week. Just a few things that either we were discovered after the show or that I just didn't fit in. 4K support natively inside Android M. That's kind of cool. Text selection, cut, copy, paste is actually way better on M. Here, let me see.
Can you show us with your over-the-shoulder shot? I want to see this.
Let me see if I can find.
Because apparently iOS 9 has like a new copy paste, so I want to make sure that this kicks it out of the water.
So let's see here. So okay, so when you touch to hold, you get that. When you drag, sorry, I'm doing the wrong. There we go. So see how it snaps forward per word, and then back per letter. And for some reason, that just from a usability standpoint is so much better. Before, I would spend all this time trying to get right into that, right into that special tiny little zone after the word, and now I don't have to. It just kind of snaps forward. And it makes it way easier. I don't know. That's cool. And I suppose it's a little thing, but it's something that I've hated on Android for so long is kind of the cut, copy, paste mechanism, and this makes it way easier. Automated device backups, and this is something that we've seen a few times here and there, and this is actually pretty cool. It stores Wi-Fi passwords, call history, app data, like your settings inside apps, app files that have been downloaded to your phone. Beautiful. That's all spelled out by a developer. So a developer actually says, these parts of my app and the user's data can be backed up if the user, sets it in settings. It's saved to a private Google Drive drive, and it doesn't count against your drive quota. So if you have a certain amount of space, it doesn't count against that. And large files won't be backed up. I don't know what large files is, what constitutes large, but I think that's a big deal and something that people have been asking for a long time. And then finally, and this kind of started breaking today, and I don't know if this is necessarily M, this is more Google search, but it was tied to an onstage demo of Now on Tap at SMX Paris earlier today. But that's location-aware search. So let's go ahead and do... here, I won't show you my password. Not that it matters. You're not right here. You can't steal my phone while you're here. So I'm going to go ahead and ask... let's see here. What's the phone number for this place? Which place did I mean? So it pulls up location. I did this earlier, and it knew that I was at Twit. But if I go like that, then it'll give me the phone number, right? So it takes your location, and it gives you results based on where you're closest to. Like I said, I did this earlier, and it said the phone number for Twit is 800 blah, blah, blah. Megan Maroney, sitting next to me, had an iPhone, and she was like, oh, I wonder if Siri does that. So she said, what's the phone number for this place? And Siri answered, I couldn't find any places matching this place. So I thought that was kind of funny. There you go. But anyway, so that's cool, right? Like you're standing in front of a monument, and all you have to do is be like, what's the name of this thing, or whatever, something along those lines, and it will know that you're standing in front of Coit Tower and tell you that's Coit Tower. It was built in blah blah blah.
I love the Now on Tap, the whole thing. I'm sign me up. I'm all for it. I know some people were complaining about whether it's too much and it's too much data or whatever, but like it makes the use of your phone that much better. And to add in location is just it makes perfect sense. And that's I can't wait to use it out in the wild. So
there's a growing context. Google Now on Tap, I think, is a definite example of a significant addition that makes a letter upgrade on this version more.
All right.
So Android Lollipop was about interface and like helping all that become prettier. And Android M, I think, is going to be more about features and sort of just really giving the power user something to look forward to.
It sounds like it's refining Lollipop. Yes. It's like doing the things. Yeah. It's doing the things in Lollipop that they couldn't get done before I/O last year. So
maybe it'll be Android Melon Pop.
Oh, well. Have we? The general consensus was that it's going to be milkshake because the dude had a milkshake on his watch face.
Yes, however, and we talked about it a little bit last week.
Yes, I'm sorry.
He has hacked his. Well, he said hacked anyways on Twitter to cycle through desserts that start with the letter M on his watch face. So that photo happened to get milkshake. Although that's a pretty convenient explanation, if you ask me. But
yeah, did he open source that hack? Or
not that I know of. So there we go. Okay, so you guys are kind of lukewarm on Android M. I can understand that. I'm pretty excited about it after using it.
10 days later, how are you feeling, Jason? I mean, are you've come down from being there and the excitement and
Yeah, I mean, I think in day-to-day use, there are a lot of things that are identical to Lollipop. Like, by and large, like the one thing that I've wondered is, do I upgrade the Nexus 5, which is what I use to record screenshots for, these shows and Android App Arena, because I like to be on the latest thing. And my thought is, no, I kind of don't need to, because it doesn't really look much different from L. So most people probably wouldn't know unless I went to the app drawer. So, I mean, there's a lot about M that is so very similar to Lollipop from a look and feel standpoint that you almost don't know that it's a different version. But then, I mean, that the doze feature alone, like I've just been realizing how good my battery life has been, and trying to just make sure, okay, this because of the upgrade to M. Right now, I feel like it is. I suppose it could be something else, but I don't know what that could be. It just seems pretty obvious. So that alone makes me go, yeah, this is pretty great. I want more people to have this. But where are we in the world of Android? How many people are going to get M? It's not even released yet. It's in developer preview. It's going to be months before it gets a public release, and then it's going to be a year before 10% of the users of Android even have it on their device. That's what's disheartening about Android.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
It's frustrating.
That's the reality of the releases and the schedule that we're on now. So I guess we can look forward to and next year. I mean, I just feel like it just feels fast. That's all. I don't know.
Maybe we all sound really like not
old
amused.
and grumpy.
We all sound old and grumpy. Actually, we've been around this block too many times. We've seen this gameplay. It's the same outcome every time.
You're kicking us down.
How many letters are we on now? What M is like? What the 15th letter? I don't know how many in the alphabet.
I think we're almost halfway through the alphabet or something.
Yeah.
So
what happens after the alphabet's done? What do we do?
Numbers.
Jeez.
Google
Numbers.
1. No, Android 1. No, that wouldn't work.
There you go.
I don't even know. Hey, let's talk about transactions. Apple Pay. Not Apple Pay. Android Pay.
No.
The exciting world.
That show.
The exciting world of mobile transactions. Well, as we get a little deeper into it, some details about both Apple Pay's deal and Android Pay's deal with MasterCard and Visa and the credit card processors have been revealed in the Wall Street Journal. Because Apple cut their deal with the credit card processors earlier than Google, Apple currently gets a cut of every transaction made when people use Apple Pay. So they made that deal with Visa and MasterCard before Visa and MasterCard rolled out a new set of rules that dictate how their token services are implemented. So these new rules now prevent Google from any sort of cut on Android Pay transactions. So this new service doesn't cost Google anything to use, however, but with no processing fees attached either. So it doesn't cost them anything, but they're not making anything on it. So this means no extra cost for merchants, as would have been the case prior to these rules. And this could lead to a much wider adoption of Android Pay, as merchants have nothing to lose. That said, though, Apple's deal is expected to expire in about 2 years, and at which time they'll likely fall into a similar deal as Google. But so here you got a situation where Apple's making a cut on every one of those transactions and Google's not. And a lot of merchants are wondering if this means that Apple will lower the cost for them, but there hasn't been any sort of mention of that as of right now. So it's interesting to see as the arms race of mobile payments continues, as MasterCard and Visa kind of adjust their rules to accommodate this new world of mobile transactions.
Yeah, and I think ultimately it kind of, Google's a pretty darn rich company. Apple is too, but this is a deal. This is a deal for Apple that in 2 years is going to expire anyways, and supposedly.
But hey, those pennies add up, though. Enough people get used to it and that sort of thing. Yeah,
they do. And Apple's redonkulously rich. What, the most valuable company in the world?
And Samsung Pay.
What's that?
What is Samsung's deal?
Samsung Pay. It got delayed.
Yeah, right?
It's delayed, which is a total bummer because I actually bought this phone. I actually paid for this phone, which is the first phone I've bought in a while. And I was really excited for it because it uses Loop Pay, which apparently works anywhere at any bodega across the street. You don't have to just go to Whole Foods.
So when is Android Pay happening? Because, I mean, when is that rolling out,
and what's
actually?
happening
Do we know?
to Google Wallet? Like, I'm reading all these conflicting reports about what's happening with it.
So to go back to this, to go back to the Samsung question, the Wall Street Journal article actually says the rules will also affect the planned payment service from Samsung, which will use MasterCard and Visa's tokenization standards. So the same thing's going to happen to Samsung when they eventually roll out their thing, Samsung Pay. But I have the same questions as you. Like, what happens? Like, I understand that. I mean, it's very easy from the surface standpoint to say this sounds a lot like Google Wallet, but it's not. Google Wallet is. I don't think Google Wallet's going to go anywhere. I think Android Pay sits on top of Google Wallet.
Yeah.
At least that's how I understand it.
Or it's a branch of it or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like Android Pay will be the consumer-facing one, and Google Wallet will be like the behind-the-scenes transaction sort of thing that is what I assume is going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I think what they were saying was that Google Wallet would be primarily peer-to-peer payments.
That's right. Yes, you're absolutely right.
And that Android Pay is really the thing you use when you go, to do a transaction.
Which is funny because my Walgreens has Google Wallet, has the logo there on their terminal, and I tap my phone, and it's
very
very
confusing, right? Because they're saying what you once knew as Google Wallet is now Android Pay. And the app that you have installed on your phone as Google Wallet is going to magically update at some point and turn into Android Pay. But Google Wallet will still exist. It'll just be this other thing that you'll then have to seek it out and use for something entirely different. Very confusing, kind of a conflicted way to think about it. From a consumer standpoint. I think ultimately, as far as this is concerned, it's not going to hurt Google one bit. I think it actually helps Google because it means that there is no friction for Android Pay to end up in these point of sale places where there may have been before if there was an added fee for a retailer to actually take it in. So it just means better adoption. In 2 years, Apple's on the same playing field as everyone anyways. Google has enough money to ride it out. I'm pretty positive of that. So yes, it's awesome to make more money, but in the long run, having that wide adoption and hopefully wide usage as a result might actually make them a lot of money anyways.
And I feel bad for the merchants who are hoping that Apple will lower their fees to offset the fact that they're making money on the transactions, but that's not going to happen at all. You think Apple's going to give up some money that they're making? Of course not. So that doesn't add shareholder value.
Right. So. Let's see here. Charles wrote in to aaa@twit.tv with an email and said, I just listened to your post-IO show and was thinking about your comments that photo doesn't have good edit options. At the time, I was thinking that Google just released Snapseed, and that is a great photo editor. Then I was looking at a picture in photo, and in the overflow menus, there is an option to edit in Snapseed. So in the photo app, directly you have simple edit, which you do, is pretty simple edit tools in there. And then in overflow, you have full edit. You just tap that, takes you through to Snapseed. And we may or may not have mentioned that last week, but if we didn't, it's true. It does have kind of an integrated, expanded editor, which is a separate app, so you just have to know to install it. And quite frankly, the new Snapseed app is pretty great, so you probably want to anyways. And if you do, then there you go, full edit support. So it's a good correction. He also says, P.S. Ron, take it easy on the cranky hippo.
Hey, I praised the little thing last week. I thought that was very funny. Brian's okay in my book.
Appreciate it, Ron.
Yeah, Brian, we good? We good?
We're good. We're good. I know you can't see me, but I'm giving you a thumbs up.
All right.
All right. Hey, let's take a break and thank our first sponsor of today's episode, the most delicious sponsor in the world, Blue Apron. BlueApron.com/twit. Guess what? We all need food to live, right? And we love food. We love to eat. It's hard to find a meal that doesn't compromise in some way. Value. Is it quick to prepare? Is it healthy? Is it delicious? That's where Blue Apron comes in. Blue Apron makes cooking delicious meals easy and fun. They deliver fresh, ready-to-cook meals right to your door. You can see this. I'm unboxing. Normally we do unboxing of technology. I used Google Glass to record my unboxing of the Blue Apron box that was shipped here. We actually have another Blue Apron box delivering this week. Our household, we love Blue Apron. The meals are awesome. The recipes are excellent, and they're super varied all across the board, different types of meals for our family, and they just send you all the ingredients like you see here. You take them out of there. They're sealed in like a refrigerated bag with packs of ice in there that keep it all cold and fresh. Throw it in the refrigerator, and when you're ready to make them, you have everything that you need to do it. They send you these cards that detail what you're going to eat, what you're going to make. Everything that's in the box is all pre-portioned for you. So you literally, when it says to put in, the sugar, if you have a meal with sugar, it's all portioned for you, and you just kind of drop it in, and it just makes the whole process really, really easy. And yeah, you can even go to the website and you can take a look at some of the recipes to get an idea as far as what meals they can send. They work with, dietary restrictions. If you're, lactose intolerant or any of those things, dietary preferences, you want vegetarian meals, they can work with you on that. And they just have incredible meals. Chicken piccata with fresh linguine pasta, sugar snap pea and farro salad. This is a turkey meatball slider. That was really, really good. We keep meaning to remake these. And that's kind of the beauty, right? Like you get this box full of all this food. You get these sheets that tell you exactly what you need to get when you go to the grocery store the next time when you want to remake it. And then you have the instructions. And most of these meals take 30 to 40 minutes, I'd say, to prepare. So you aren't spending all night in the kitchen to make them. This was so good. Salmon, fennel, and olives, and Salisbury steak. We've remade this 2 times since we got it with Blue Apron because it was, it was a hit with the kids. When you find a meal that's a hit with the kids and it's good for you, you make it a lot. That's
kids love the Salisbury steak.
It's good. Well, it's good.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
So definitely, you want to check it out. You're going to cook incredible meals. You're going to be blown away by the quality, the freshness. You're going to learn more about cooking. Maybe you're just kind of getting into it and you're kind of learning how to follow a recipe and everything. This is a great way to get acquainted with the process. And, you just feel good because you're making your food. Blue Apron, it's a better way to cook. Check out this week's menu. And get this, you're going to get 2 meals for free if you go to blueapron.com/twit. That's right, 2 meals for free just by going to blueapron.com/twit. And you can check it out. We're feeding you 2 dinners. And we thank Blue Apron for their support of All About Android. We're going to get our box either tonight or tomorrow. And then, we're going to be eating good.
They were great. I was able to go to the website and say, don't send it to me when I'm out of town. And it was super easy to delay a delivery and then send me an email today saying, hey, we're going to ship you next week. Here are your options. And it's great.
That would be a bummer to return home from the Bahamas and find an empty Blue Apron box sitting on your doorstep.
Just sit. Someone in the lower Haight is eating very well.
Yes.
Oh, God.
Exactly. So check it out, blueapron.com/twit. All right. It's not much of a hardware section, but let's check it out anyways.
I feel like this hardware section is like deals.
I know. It's a slow hardware news week when it's deals.
All about deals.
We're saving you some money this week on All About Android. But, hey, they're good deals, right? For instance, the Nexus 6, the phone right here that costs a lot of money normally, has a price drop going on right now, $150 off. You can go to the Play Store. They're selling it for $150 off on Amazon, and now through Motorola's own site. That's $500 for the 16 gig, and then $549 for the 64 gig. And normally, that brings you a little bit closer to the realm of Nexus pricing, I suppose.
It's a little less of a sting.
Yeah. Now, I guess the question is, would I recommend you buy the Nexus 6 for $500? Yeah, I could say that. Yeah. I like the phone. I love it, especially now that I have a case on it. I don't feel like I'm going to drop it again and scream.
Hey, listen, that is less than $100 per inch.
It's one way to look at it.
That's how you can look at it. There you go.
It's only $50 more than what I spent on my Galaxy S6 Edge, subsidized.
Subsidized.
So you're experiencing no pain.
Really expensive.
You're experiencing no pain from that price tag, Florence. I can tell that you were totally fine with paying what you paid for that Edge.
I mean, I just put it on a credit card, so when I'm going to pay it off.
Look, it's not real money.
My financial matters on air here, but
Look, when you buy with a credit card, it's not real money. You just give them the card, and they give you the thing you want.
Not do financial lessons of flow today. I could go for a while.
Well, speaking of Samsung S6 and the Edge, as well as the Nexus 6, I was recently, last week when I was in New York City, I was hanging out with a friend of mine who has the Samsung S6, and it was a review unit that Samsung sent him, and we were discussing phones and which ones to buy and that sort of thing. And I was saying how, I'm not a big fan of Samsung, but I really like the Edge. I was really impressed by it, but I don't know if I'd pay all the money for it, and that the Nexus 6 was too big. And he said, well, what are you using now? I said, well, I'm still using my Nexus 5. And he goes, yeah, but you can't get that anymore. If you had to buy a phone right now, what would you buy? And I said, honestly, it probably would be the OnePlus One, because I feel like that's the best, right now for the size of the phone that I want and the amount of money I want to spend. But now, after this news, it's absolutely the one I would recommend to anybody, because the OnePlus One is now $249 for good. That is how much that phone is going to cost from here on out. The 64 gig version is $349 and comes with 1 year of Dropbox Pro, which gives you 1 terabyte of storage. So OnePlus One with the price drop, good job. And I'm sure Bryan Cracky Hippo likes that graphic, doesn't he?
Is that a Doge dollar?
It's Una dollar. Yeah. So
I've never seen a Doge dollar before.
Oh no, but he looks pretty satisfied with himself.
He looks very smart, I have to say.
But hey, $249 was
the actual news. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great price point. That's a great price point.
Yeah, that is. I
guess.
Yeah, you're just not feeling the OnePlus anymore.
I'm not. Subjectively, well, I don't know. I feel like I shouldn't talk more.
Tell us how you feel. Tell us how you really feel. I'm very curious.
I have a lot of confused feelings about OnePlus One because
the phone or the company.
A little of both. I mean, the phone. Well, it's kind of the issue, right? Because the phone, I gave it such a great score. I mean, it was a really great phone overall. Like the software is really good. It's cyanogen, so it's definitely going to get updated. That's not an issue. But the company has done some interesting.
Well,
things.
That's that we have our how many days since a marketing blunder by OnePlus, which honestly we're on several weeks now. They haven't screwed up for a while, so that's pretty good. So
actually, there was an emailer. He didn't make it into the show today, but he said, Ron, you can reset that to 0 again. Because the promotion that OnePlus was doing before they dropped it to $249 as a result of high demand from the promotion, he got in there and he was able to place the order through the promotion, and then I think there was something weird that happened. He didn't hear from them, and then like 48 hours later he heard back and they were like, actually, we don't have the supply to offer it to you. Do you want us to just refund your money? Which, I mean, I understand his complaint. At the same time, it did say limited supply, so that doesn't seem like the poster selfie contest.
Supply for the last year. Just not.
Are you at all curious about the OnePlus 2, the follow-up, some point this year?
I mean, as a tech journalist, yes, I am interested to see what they follow up with. Mm-hmm. But I'm still not like wholly wowed by the company. I'm not,
Yeah, I hear you.
We need a good company to come in besides Google and just kind of pick everybody up and hug them and just be really
You mean that's not Samsung?
Well, no, because Samsung's a huge corporation.
No, I know. I'm kidding. I'm joking.
When was the last time Samsung hugged you, Ron?
I know, exactly. They haven't hugged me, that's for sure.
LG, they're kind of huggers.
Yeah.
They have to deal
with
They
hug it out from time to time.
Yeah.
HTC is kind of huggy, but
it could have been HTC. I really feel like HTC was the one that was in the. I've been playing. I got an M9. I got a review unit of this one, and I really like it. And I've been having fun with it.
The gold one. It looks the gold one is nice in person.
Yeah, it's just the lighting. It's the metal, whatever. But yeah, no, I've always been a fan of HTC, and I've been rooting for them as an underdog, but they haven't gotten to the huggable level yet. So
yeah.
They need hugs from us.
Yes,
we should be hugging them.
We get close to hug them, and we realize they're kind of smelly, and sort of recoil a little bit.
That was an odd turn.
So one of these days, HTC is going to take a shower, and then we will gladly hug them again.
I don't know how I feel about this metaphor, but I understand where you're going with it.
I don't know either. I just felt like we're hugging We're hugging phones all over the
I'm wearing my
place.
hippie shirt, so I feel like I have to talk a lot about hugging in today's show. Sorry.
Yes, and you had the cookie earlier, so you're just all set.
Oh yeah, I'm all about the free loving.
Jason, could you hug Motorola?
Maybe if what they're saying about camera stuff is accurate, although I'll believe it when I see it. So basically, so how do you feel about this, Florence? Motorola CMO Adrian Hayes said on Twitter that Motorola is going to bring it when it comes to a quality camera in the next Moto X. She said that Motorola is aware that improvements here are very important. And she also alluded to the upcoming model having support for more manual controls and added attention to the camera experience. Do we think Motorola is going to come out with a phone that can enter the ring against the likes of the S6 and the G4? What do you think, Flo?
Yes. Okay, so first of all, have you met Adrian?
No.
She is super sassy. So I met her at MWC this last year.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, I went to a Motorola, it was like a Motorola drinks with the VP event. And we were just like we were a bunch of journalists just going from like table to table talking to different executives. And I got to talk to her a little bit. And it was all on the record. So, I ended up writing about it a while back. And they were, that was one of the big complaints from us was like, when are you guys going to fix the cameras? Because you've got everything there. Like you've got the really good looking phones, you've got the really fantastic software.
Mm-hmm.
And actually tomorrow I'm putting up an interview with Motorola's senior vice president of software, just about the whole software thing. But yeah, the camera needs a lot of work.
Yeah.
And if they can get good deals, if they can work with the same, distributor or manufacturer who does, like if they put a Sony lens in there, it would be so much better than what they have going now.
Yeah. That would be that would be good enough though. If Motorola had, if the next Moto X had an awesome camera, it would kind of end up being somewhat of a no-brainer.
I think we would all
selection.
implode. The entire Android ecosystem would implode. I feel like it would be the perfect phone, which I feel it might be a little soon to say that. But if it was a camera as good as the one on this, like, that's it. Game's over. It's done. We're done here.
And the fact that exists, the fact that Samsung was able to do that, means there's no reason that Motorola can't. It's physically capable. It's just a matter of whether or not they choose those parts and can get the prices down and make the magic happen. They could be huggable. They could make this. I believe in them. I like Motorola Novo or whatever we call them, Moto Novo. I want to root for them as well too. So let's hopefully she brings it. At least she didn't say I got this. Talk about a trope.
Oh gosh.
I got this. Anyway, cool. Okay, well, we got an email. Moving on. So Dirk wrote in and says also on the Google Photos. Google Photos, a lot of attention on the Google Photos.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He says, I have a lot of old photos that I already uploaded to the old Google Photo at standard resolution. Now that they are offering unlimited storage on up to 16 megapixels, is there any way to get Google Photo to rescan my library, or do I need to go in and manually delete everything and start again? And unfortunately, you need to remove the old photos, resync them again. There's no way to do that smarter, unfortunately.
Yeah, as far as I could tell anyways, I've seen a lot of people asking this question, and I don't know any other way to go about that than to remove the old photos that you've synced. I think I can't. The question is, what is standard resolution? I've been trying to think of how they could do that programmatically, where I guess what you could do is you could sync a bunch of photos, and then Google will scan them and identify which ones have the same subjects based on whatever algorithm they have, and then keep the highest resolution one. So like from, intellectually that seems doable, but maybe programmatically it's just they're not there yet. So yeah, it's not a priority.
Yeah,
it just means them storing more stuff. Maybe it's just kind of like, well, we're giving you all this free storage, so if you really want it, you do the work.
but think about all the memories you'll revisit by rescanning them.
That's and all true. The X's that you'll see.
Yes.
And deceased pets, which
wow.
Sorry.
Wow.
That happened to me today. Harsh. I was going through some Google photo stuff today, and then it was like pictures of my dog, rest in peace.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know, Brian.
It's actually making me a little
This is a
emotional.
little sad. Stop.
Oh my gosh.
No more. No more. Sorry about that.
Yeah, this took a dark turn, guys.
It really did. It really did.
This is real, guys. This is gonna be real.
We were talking about hugs like, what, 10 minutes ago?
Yeah.
You know, a little moody.
We're all over the place today, folks. It's just one of those days. How about we take a break then? All right, we can compose ourselves, take a drink or another bite of that cookie, and we'll thank a sponsor, PagerDuty. This is an operations performance platform. You know, it's basically delivering visibility and intelligence to help increase the uptime of your apps, your servers, your websites, your databases. If you rely on your software and services to always be up, PagerDuty is essential. As the hub of your operations, PagerDuty actually connects all of your systems into a single view where you can see critical events across all of your monitoring tools. And there are 100 ready-to-use integrations right off the top. New Relic, Keynote, App Dynamics, there's a bunch of them. You can even roll your own with PagerDuty's APIs. And, you know, when an incident occurs, PagerDuty notifies the right team, the right member based on your on-call schedules and personalized alerting preferences. So they keep the right people in the know at the right time. And if those alerts are missed, PagerDuty will automatically escalate those issues to another team member until it's responded to. Those dispatched alerts can be done by automated phone calls, SMS, email, push notifications, and resolve incidences on the go, basically, wherever you are. So you can live your life, even when you're on a call. Decrease the noise. Incidences are automatically filtered and deduplicated to ensure only actionable alerts are delivered. PagerDuty's analytics tools will also help identify common problems, allowing you to proactively make system improvements and prevent future outages. PagerDuty is relentless when it comes to reliability. It's fully distributed across multiple data centers and multiple hosting providers. There are also many ways to get in touch with the people that you have to contact when there is an issue. You can customize it to fit how you and your team work, regardless of location or size. PagerDuty is trusted by thousands of companies, including Microsoft, GitHub, Boeing, Nike, Pinterest, and Box. Many names you've heard of. So get the right engineer on the right problem at the right time. Visit pagerduty.com/twit. You can sign up for a free 14-day trial, and for as little as $19 a month, you can increase your uptime with PagerDuty. And when you sign up for a new account, you'll also get a free t-shirt, a free PagerDuty t-shirt. So check it out. That's pagerduty.com/twit. And we thank PagerDuty for their support of All About Android and the Twit Network. All right. We've taken a deep breath. We've taken a couple of bites of our cookies. I've drank a little coffee at 6:30 p.m., which means I'm never going to sleep. But that's okay. It's okay. Is that coffee in your mug as well?
No, it's green. It's toasted rice green tea.
Oh, wow.
It's my fave.
Wow. I like your dedication to green. Let's check out some apps.
Alrighty.
Ron, are you still using your Nexus player?
I don't have a Nexus player. I never got one. Remember?
I thought you did get one.
I have to plug mine in.
Yeah.
Can I have yours? No, I didn't get one.
Over. I want to put classic games on it, which I'm probably not supposed to say live on TV.
Okay. Sure, we'll have a game night. No.
Yeah.
All right. But no, I don't have a Nexus player because the reviews are so bad I didn't get one. But I will tell you that as I forget where I was. I think I was still in San Francisco. But as I was leaving San Francisco, I saw street billboards for the NVIDIA Shield, and I was like, that might be something I want to add to my home theater setup, which would be very cool. But I'm currently 100% Chromecast, but I really want to play with Android TV, and especially now that this news came out that the Google Play Store for Android TV 5.5.15 finally is updated, and it removes the curated apps only restriction. So now any compatible app with any app that's compatible with Android TV is shown within the category sections to make discovery easier. So it kind of opens up the floodgates of what you could do with the Android TV. And now I really want one.
Yeah, because that was a big downside to Android TV, was just the fact that you knew there were tons. There were what is it? I think now there's something like 600 apps compatible with Android TV. I think was the news last week. But you couldn't access them through the Android TV Play Store. You got just this handful of selections, and anything else you had to kind of go on the web and know that it was compatible and then install it through the web interface, which you could do, but it was just kind of like, why?
It was the same playbook that we had with Google TV all those years ago, where people were making apps, but they weren't bubbling up into the Google Play Store, the App Store or whatever, because Google was restricting them or verifying them or doing whatever. And then they finally opened it up just in time for Google TV to die. So, you know, this is great to see. And the Android TV, like, I'm really looking at that NVIDIA Shield as an option, because it seems really cool. And then that would allow me to take the Chromecast out and have that be a mobile Chromecast. I just throw it in my bag when I travel, and then so I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, I'm very curious. So if anyone from NVIDIA is watching, get in touch, call me.
Yeah, that's a nice piece of hardware too.
Yeah. So.
Also in Google Play news, but this on the web and just in the Android Play Store app, the new family-friendly section is rolling out. What's weird is I got it on my Nexus 6 earlier, and then when I went to look at it later in the day, it wasn't there anymore. I'm like, did I dream that? But no, I know I saw it, and then now I can't get to it. But so basically the family section is rolled out. You know, we talked about it a lot last week, where it's basically, you know, you can either do like a character picker, or, you know, it's broken out in age and kind of genre within there as well. So it's designed for parents to pick apps that are appropriate for their kids. Although I'm sure you could just give your kid that section and let them go nuts if you wanted to as well. But that's good to see. I'm happy to see that feature roll out. And I think, I don't know, as a parent, I'm definitely going to use that for discovery a little bit more, because it's kind of all over the place when you're searching for apps that are good for your kids. And I mean, you can go down a wormhole or a rabbit hole if you know, and get lost pretty easily. So it's nice to have things a little bit more compartmentalized for that.
Sure.
Yeah. Every content provider should have a little section just for children, just like the way Netflix does and the way Google Play does now. Yeah. I think it's great.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially with more and more of the little ones getting their hands on the devices and knowing what to do with them. So I think that's a definitely much needed bit of functionality. So, yeah. Apparently hell froze over yesterday at WWDC with the Apple presentation. As part of the announcements that happened, Apple announced Apple Music, which is, we kind of saw this coming, that it was they were taking the Beats app that they bought when they bought Beats by Dr. Dre a while back, and have repurposed it now for Apple Music. But they announced that it was coming to Android this fall as well. And so, you know, I definitely turned an ear when I heard that in WWDC them even say the word Android, not in a negative way either. But this might be a new day dawning at Apple.
It's a new dawn. It's a new day.
If you are interested in Apple Music, and I don't know why you would be, because it was extremely underwhelming, a 3-month free membership, and then after that it's $9.99 per month thereafter. And then there's a family plan for up to 6 people for $14.99 per month, which is interesting. But yeah, I was not impressed by the Apple Music presentation. There's not enough to get me to. I think Google Play All Access just fine. If I was a Spotify user,
how is it any different than Google Play or Spotify? Yep. You know, I mean, okay, I understand there are a little different
Beats
differentiators, but
radio on the internet.
Exactly. Radio on the internet. But did you see, somebody posted the picture of Russ Hanneman doing radio on the internet? And if Bryan was good, he'd pull it up.
Oh, was it?
Editor's the one, Jason Cross posted on Twitter yesterday and got like 130 retweets.
Nice.
Can I tell you, like 17 people sent it to me. It was insane. It was very funny. But I mean, the thing is that, like, I have a friend who swears by Beats, the Beats app, and loves it, and loves the curated playlists, and like that's the game changer for him in that app, which is the one bit of functionality that Google. I mean, they're doing a little with the songs integration, but I don't like curated playlists, so I'm not someone who's looking for that. But maybe there's this big audience that wants that, and if Beats is or whatever, Apple Music is the best source of that, or the radio on the internet is the best source of that, then that could be interesting. I'm glad that they're not turning off Android, because that would suck, because Beats Audio launched on both platforms. So I'm glad that they're maintaining it. But I think it's interesting that there will be Android development jobs in Cupertino, which is very funny. So,
well, I think it's going to cater to a very certain subset of music listeners. I think Apple Music is going to be more for like top 40, sort of like the more popular bands and groups and artists out there. I think Spotify is going to remain more community oriented because I use Spotify with my friends. I mean, we all collaborate on playlists and things like that. And then Google Play Music, I think, is just going to remain like an individual. Why can't I say the word individualistic?
Individual is what you're trying to say.
Sometimes, although they have curated playlists too. They have like an editorial staff that curates music for Android listeners and other people who listen online.
Brian, I hate to do this to you on the fly, and we don't have one for version M, but we've got some breaking news.
I don't think we need a new bumper until we have a name.
Yeah, that's true. We'll just stick with Lollipop for now. This just in an hour ago from Mashable that Apple still gets its jab in on Android users because though there will be a 3-month free trial for iOS and web users of Apple Music, that will not be the case for Android users.
Wah, wah.
So if you were hoping,
that's not cool.
So if you were hoping to check it out for 3 months free, you don't get to unless you switch to iOS. I don't know. I'm interested to check it out. I don't know that it necessarily brings anything new to the table, but I'll check it out. I'm curious to know how, like, if Beats won the 24-hour, 7-day-a-week radio thing, whatever it is going to be like an influential anything.
There it is. Radio on the internet.
Radio on the internet. Doors that open like this.
Do you guys think Apple's going to design it so that it's immaterial design?
That's a good question.
That would be awesome.
What do you guys know about design? We'll just do our own minimalistic thing.
Yeah, no, I mean, if they do it to follow the iOS standards, I mean, you know how developers kind of get raked over the coals when they bring their iOS design over to Android.
OMG, you mean like how Twitter was made for iOS users? It was not made for Android users?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep.
And then the reviews. I mean, no matter what, the reviews for Apple Music for Android, I predict whether it deserves it or not are going to be like 1 star, really low, in abundance.
Google is the king.
Yeah. Oh man, it's going to be ugly.
Traitors.
It's going to be ugly. I'm not saying it deserves it, but the hive mind is difficult to coerce otherwise.
Well, continuing the ugly tip, one little bit out of WWDC that came out is that Apple shows off a new Move to iOS app that will make it easier for users to switch from Android to iOS. Basically,
from an HTC One to iOS.
Yeah. That's ouch. That's an ouch move right there, which I get. I mean, like you want to make it as easy to switch people over. And so this app will, ease the transition by allowing people to line up their apps and launch them on the iOS when they get the new phone and wirely transfer contacts, message history, photos, bookmarks, mail, calendars, media, all that stuff. So, I mean, is this a sign that Apple is worried about Android, or is it I'm trying to figure out what this move is, I mean, I get you want to make it as easy for people to get on board and using your phone, but this is pretty specific.
Can I be honest about something? I have to admit something. I really hope my mother doesn't find out about this app because I'm afraid she might go back to iOS because of it. I'm not going to tell her it exists. So let's pretend it doesn't exist. Thanks.
She'll find another way. You can't stop in you can't stand in the way if there's a will.
Just brought her to the dark side, / my side.
Does she? So she's not enjoying it, or what's the deal?
Yeah, she was not. I mean, she comes back from Europe today, so I'm going to hear about it this weekend. And she asked my cousin for help overseas on her Android device. So.
Oh, well, I hope the discussion goes well. That doesn't sound like it's setting up to be a very fun talk. And I understand. Let's see here. Ben wrote in from Melbourne, Australia. to say, I'm looking for an app that lets you skip straight to the original content from a clickbait link. Let's say your friend posts a link to a cat video on Facebook via Unworthy, for example, just throwing that out there. Is there a way to jump straight to the YouTube video and skip the placeholder news article in air quotes? In the middle, I need cat videos as soon as possible. This falls into, I feel like maybe we need like a section bumper of some sort that denotes like really good idea for an app. Someone do that. Because I don't know if an app exists to do this, but I'm sure if it did, a lot of people would use it because, hey, why not just get right to the video and skip the listicle?
Is this a bad time to bring up the ads pay salaries?
No. No,
Thanks
it's
for supporting me.
It's important. It's important to know. Although some people don't want to go to, you know, I mean, I can kind of understand though, like some sites are.
Oh, look at that kitty go.
Some sites are really, really painful.
Obnoxious about it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. You know, that's why, I mean, I was happy I signed up for Google Contributor. Maybe you can go sign up for Google Contributor and that will help you block.
What is that?
Yeah, what is that? I don't even know.
Google Contributor is a beta program. This isn't Android specific. It's open to anybody. It's a web-based program. So it's all web. It's Google. But basically, I pay Google. You can pick a dollar threshold amount to pay them on a monthly basis, and they will. It's basically Google supported ad block. They will hide ads of sites that are participating in AdWords, and then a percentage of my portion that I pay to Google goes to the sites.
That's amazing.
I've never heard of this.
I've never
It just
heard
rolled
of
out.
this.
It rolled out like a month ago or so. Yeah.
Oh.
I'm surprised there wasn't more fanfare about it. I mean, this is great.
Yeah.
Wow.
Let me pull up my numbers because you can actually see where your
money's going to work or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Well, my dashboard. So I'm only doing $2 a month because I was just testing it. But so far in the last week, I've had 162 ads removed, and I've paid money. They've paid 5 cents to Eater, 2 cents to iFanboy, 2 cents to Android Police. Yeah, I mean, it shows you exactly how much money is going to it.
You're still supporting all of us.
Ars Technica, The Verge, Android Central. Yeah, it's all YouTube. Yeah, so it's pretty cool. So they don't block all the ads, but like, so let's see. So for all time, I've had 1,183 ads removed, and I've given some decent money like to RollingStone.com and to Setlist.fm, all recipes. It's pretty cool. And
does it work on your phone?
It's a good question. I haven't actually looked at I definitely noticed it on the web. I haven't looked on the phone because I don't know. I just haven't looked at it. But what was interesting is that they don't show the ad and it says this ad blocked. Your Google Contributor. Thank you. But they have a really neat little function where you can say, instead of showing me the ad, either show me nothing or show me pictures of cats. So that's pretty cool too.
What is it with cats on the internet?
I know.
Sorry, that was a bad Jerry Seinfeld.
That was a very bad Jerry Seinfeld.
It was like halfway there.
But that goes back to Ben. That goes back to Ben's email wanting to just jump to the cat videos. You can hide your ads and just show cat photos. So there you go.
Wow, I'd never heard of that before.
Yeah,
this was cool. Like a month ago.
Yeah, it was about a month ago I signed up. Yeah.
Wow.
So.
Today I learned.
Yeah, no kidding. It's brilliant, actually. But I wonder if the trade-off, the monetary value for the trade-off is as equal.
Well, I'd be curious from a publisher standpoint.
Yeah, right.
Actually, if they're seeing less or more money, and the idea is that this isn't meant to replace ads. It's a percentage of the ads of the traffic that you give. And of course, if I gave more money, if I paid $10 a month, more money would go to the publishers. But it's not 100% total replacement. So, yep.
Interesting. All right, check that out. Let's thank our final sponsor of today's episode before we get to the arena, and that is Gazelle. Gazelle's perfect for All About Android because we talk about devices all the time, new devices that are coming out that you might want to buy, but you got this, device that's hanging out in a drawer somewhere, gathering dust, or maybe you have the device that's in your hand and you just want to swap it and get something different. You can buy certified pre-owned Samsung Galaxy accessories directly from Gazelle. Now, if you've lost or broken your phone, certified pre-owned device is a great way to buy a low-cost replacement device. You can actually buy them through Gazelle now. We told you all the time about selling your device through Gazelle. Well, here's a way that you can buy them. Gazelle still offers great deals on trade-ins for your old device. And, you can just visit Gazelle.com to see what devices are available from Gazelle in certified pre-owned condition. And, there's a lot of benefits when you buy this way. Devices are available in 2 conditions. You can find them certified like new or certified good. Certified good devices show some gentle signs of wear, but basically they offer consumers who want to save a little extra money a great device at a great price. And all devices have been put through a rigorous 30-point inspection to make sure that they're fully functional. Certified pre-owned devices are also backed by a 30-day risk-free return policy. And, of course, as we've talked about many times, you can trade, send them your device, the one that you have that you no longer need. You get paid in cash, payments fast, usually within a few days of the item being received. It's risk-free. Gazelle will also actually wipe your data for free. So if you haven't wiped it securely, Gazelle does that for you. They're trustworthy. Gazelle has paid nearly $175 million to over 1 million customers. And that's because it's easy. And there's free shipping. Most items actually qualify for a free box, so they take care of that for you. Fast process, no listing hassles. It's just easy. Just go to the site and check it out. You can find your device through the site, tell them what condition it's in, how much memory is on your device in particular, and they'll give you a price. You send it in, and they'll give you the money. What's your Android device worth? Take a minute, go to Gazelle.com to find out, and also check out their certified devices that you can buy through the site now. It's a great way to buy and sell devices. It's Gazelle.com. Check it out for yourself. And we thank Gazelle for their support of All About Android and the Twit Network. All right. Got a couple of new apps to show off in this week's Android Arena.
So many enter, but only one lives. Android Arena.
Ooh.
Oh?
The Android Arena bumper. Is that new?
What?
Did he change the font on the word Android to the new version? Or is that?
Oh, yeah, he did that a few months ago.
Oh, I just noticed it now. There you go.
Yeah, it was kind of updated to the current way. Yes, there you go.
Listen, Jason, I need to be up to date on every move Jeff Kosmicki makes. So.
And I feel like
I totally missed that. That's pretty.
Yeah,
I like it.
It is nice. It is nice. Yeah. Although the thing I post on Google Plus is still the old one. So I need to take a screenshot of that and change the way I use it in other ways. Oops.
Get with it.
Too many things to keep track of for this show, I tell you. Okay, so let's take a look at last week's poll. That was AAApoll.com/216. And hey, App Hunt, boom, wins with 50% of the votes. Nice. That was a pretty solid win there. Second place is Falcon Pro 3 at 26%, and Layout from Instagram, third place at 24%. So that means I win. Actually, the developer of App Hunt wins, and I piggyback on that success. So, Ron, you were gone. So your payment is to show your app first. Bryan, are you getting my feed? Did I?
I will check.
We didn't check it before the show, but yeah, you'll have to.
Yep, I'm getting it.
Hey, there we go. Awesome.
All right,
okay,
cool.
So show off your app, and I'll be right back when I get the thing that I was going to take a picture of. Talk for a second.
Awesome. You're going to get the thing. Yeah. So, yeah, we've been talking about the open platformness of Microsoft for a couple of weeks and months, and believe it or not, here I am in the arena, and I know the folks in the chat room are going to freak out with a Microsoft app. Office Lens emerged in the Google Play Store recently, and this is an app that has been available first on the Windows platform, then rolled out to iOS, and now it's been in beta since April, and now this is the final official rollout of Office Lens for Android. And I gotta admit, this is pretty cool. This is one of those apps that allows you to take a picture of the whiteboard or take a picture of a document, and then the app will capture it and allow you to share it, to save it to OneDrive or OneNote or whatever. But what Jason just did in the demo there, that's what makes this so cool, is that you can take a picture. Other apps do this. We've seen this before, but somehow they've made it so you can take a picture of a document that's diagonal or sideways or whatever, and it will orient it correctly. And Jason, how accurate is the capturing of that based off what you took the picture of? Like, are any of the words wrong, or is it all accurate?
It looks pretty solid.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's an image. You know, it's a picture of it. Let me try it one more time because it kind of did it sideways.
Here, so
it's funny. It's like capturing the seam of the table too.
Yeah. Do you see the long? Yeah, that's pretty cool though. Here,
we'll do this. So sideways.
I want to know the story behind that card.
Yes, I am tall. You're very observant for noticing. I'm 6'6", also known. Well, I'm not. I'm actually 6'8". No, I don't play basketball. The weather is the same up here. No, I don't have trouble finding clothes. I sleep in a normal sized bed too. So glad we had this conversation. This, every tall person has this card.
Yeah, it's part of the club, right?
It's pretty standard stuff. Yeah.
But anyway, so back to the app. So you can
sorry.
you can capture and if you go, Jason, and I'm sorry, Brian, if you go to the Google Play Store page, there are photos and examples of a whiteboard where the photo clearly is taken from an angle. And then it captures it and it really orients it correctly. That's crazy. And I was playing with it a little bit here earlier today, and it never didn't get it correctly. Like it never, it hit a home run every time.
Let me see. I'm gonna try a little.
Try to stump it.
Let's see here. Will it get it? Now, do you have to make sure all four? Yeah, you have to make sure all 4 points are in, and I didn't do that last time.
Yeah, so that's user error. There we go.
Here.
And the lighting there is weird.
Yeah, it's like No, you can see it though when it's doing the detection. Like I know that it's not going to go right because it's doing that like the shit.
Yeah, do you see it bouncing off the white light on the upper right hand corner is screwing it up. Oh, there it is. It's like a game. It's also like a game app. There you go.
Hey, there you go.
There it is.
Salisbury Steaks.
Salisbury steak.
And the thing is that quite often when you're capturing one of those, when you're capturing a document or notes or something like that, you're not doing it for 100% perfection, like, straight up scanning. You just want to grab it so you can refer to it later or whatnot. And this totally gets the job done. Once you do that, you can save it. You can crop it. You can save it. And of course, it's integrated to all Microsoft services. So either OneNote or OneDrive or whatnot. And but you can also save it to your gallery where you can then email it or or save it to Drive or wherever else you might want to. I would like to see native what's the word I'm looking for? Native integration with Google Drive or Dropbox or whatnot. But I'm sure that will come given the latest kind of changes in Microsoft and the openness. But for now, you can save it to your gallery and then you can do whatever you need to. So
you've got your own manual kind of crop controls. This is cool. I like the interface a lot.
Yeah, it's really good. It's a neat little app. It's the kind of thing that you just put on your phone and save it for when you need it. So, Office Lens.
Neat. Microsoft once again doing cool stuff. Office Lens. It's free. It's by Microsoft. Check it out in the Play Store. And I appreciate the vote of confidence from the chat room from Palace 486 who says, "If anyone can make it not work, Jason can do it." Those are my skills in the arena. I'll take your awesome app and make it look like it doesn't work. That's what I do here. Okay, Florence, hopefully I can make yours work. I'll certainly do my best. What do you have?
I have the amazing game, You Must Build a Boat. It is the sequel to 10 Million from the guy who did 10 Million, 88 games. And it's just the same fun action if you play 10 Million. It's the match 3 or more. You're running, it's a runner game. I'm not very good at explaining games, clearly.
So, okay.
I was really obsessed with 10 Million. And so this is the sequel, and I'm very excited about it.
Okay, so I begin run.
Yes.
So what do I do?
So you got to match 3. So for instance, and this is actually the tutorial, so he's going to walk you through. Yeah.
All right, so you'll see kind of what it's all about.
Yeah, so you're running, and then when you get to a chest, you have to, connect the keys in there to unlock the chest. And when you come up to an enemy, you have to use your magic wand or use the shield or use your sword. And then you have to collect materials to help build your boat and, get a crew together.
Let's see here. Okay, so now I need to match a red tile. Is that right?
Yes. Or
double match.
You just try and match other things until you get more of what you're looking for.
Yeah. Yeah, this is nice. Satisfying.
It's super addictive.
Yeah.
I replayed 10 million several times.
Is there a limit as far as how far I can slide them?
It's like they're on a track, so
okay, so I can go anywhere in that track.
Once you slide them up, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool. And then this up here, I just kind of like explore as I go along. Is that kind of what's going on up there?
No, you have to just keep running. You have to focus on making the matches and keep on running, because what's going to happen is the screen is going to hit you in a bit and you're going to end the level.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I'm not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. I'm too good. Yeah.
Well,
I'm on a roll now.
I wonder if it's also because you're in tutorial. I'm not gonna let you die.
Hey, I'm
just saying.
I'd be really good if this wasn't a tutorial. But you're probably right, actually.
It's super addicting. I will tell you, once you start playing it, you might be really addicted to it. It has little RPG elements in it too.
Yeah.
It's like you have to grow your character, you have to upgrade his weapons and his armor, and like get him little power-ups and things like that. So yeah, it's just
I win!
So every time you it's gonna explain. Every time you end a level, you can't lose. It's always gonna say you win.
Oh.
Because every time you go in, you always come out faster and stronger.
So this is my kind of game. So you can't lose, or you just always?
No, you just keep replaying it and keep like grinding through it to get materials and to keep, growing yourself and.
Nice. All right, so this is You Must Build a Boat. I like how that was timed. So, okay, and this is the boat part, apparently.
Yes. And so, like, you're sleeping on it, so when you want to get up, you got to tap on the lizard guy down below. And now you can, like, upgrade your sword. Well, not yet.
I can upgrade to that one, though.
So you're going to hit it. Just keep hitting it. Yeah.
Excellent. I like it. Cool. And then I can go up there.
I'm already almost done with the game. I think it just came out like a couple days ago.
Wow.
Or it came out late last week.
Cool. Excellent. Check it out. You Must Build a Boat. It's $2.99 in the Play Store. And
totally worth it.
So the primary crux of the game, though, is the puzzle aspect, and then everything else is more like kind of upgrades and all that kind of stuff. Cool. Excellent. So You Must Build a Boat. Mine is a relatively, if not completely unknown app. It's a habit tracking app called Goalie. There's a free version. It's also a $1.99 ad-free version, which also includes unlimited goals. But what I like about this is, it has kind of the material design approach intact here. As you can see, this is one of my goals, is to eat cake. And if we tap into here, you can kind of see my performance over a certain amount of time. I will admit I didn't actually eat all this cake. Today, I did eat cake, though. So that one's true. The other ones are just to kind of illustrate other cake days that I missed out on. I wish I had, though. You can name it, of course. You can assign any of your tasks a new color. You can set reminders, recurring or single reminders, or however many you want to do, and you can, silence the alarm or add an alarm to it and have them, either happen every single day or whatever days that you want them to happen on. You can set a goal. So if this is a goal to like drink 5 glasses of water a day, then you could set that to 5, and that would be your goal. It keeps track of your streaks. So what days, how many days in a row are you actually meeting your goal? Then it keeps track of that. And how you tell the app whether you've done it or not is when I eat cake, I swipe right. Boom, I've eaten 2 cakes now. Uh-oh, I actually didn't eat a cake. Let me take that away. I swiped left, and now I'm down to 1. So it's a way to kind of monitor all of, the things that you might want to create a habit around. For instance, record all about Android. I could do that. I could create it. Obviously, that would be green. Set a reminder for myself in the afternoon on only Tuesdays, because that's when I do the show. And yeah, a reminder's good for that. Goal, well, just 1 episode. That's fine. I don't need to do 2 episodes in one day, really. That's a lot of work. And then there we go. So now I have it, and I can go ahead and give myself 1 because we've recorded all about Android today. There you go. It's just kind of a cool approach for habit management, rather. And you can, add just a number of these and keep track of them and right and left them based on whether you've done it or not. And I think for habit tracking, that's kind of essential, right? Like you want an easy way to go in and say, yes, I've done that. You don't want to spend 20 minutes staring at the app to try and update it. You just want to go in there and log it and move on. So there you go. It's called Goalie. It's free. Goal!
Yeah, I really thought it was going to be a different kind of goal.
So did I, to be honest with you. I was like, oh, Women's World Cup. He's going in that direction. Cool.
No, I didn't go. I didn't go in that direction. But that's okay. I appreciate the transition regardless.
I mean, this is still America, so
America.
I don't know what soccer is.
Goalie, it's a habit tracker. You should check it out. There is a free version, and like I said, for $1.99, it's unlimited goals and ad-free. And yeah, I don't even think that there might be less than 100 installs on this right now. So it's super. No, right now it says installs 1 to 5. It deserves more than 1 to 5. Awesome. I like the. I think it just released, so that explains it. But
I love it when you find an app that is so new and it's got like less than because the thing is that they only do 1 to 5, then they do 100 to 500.
Yeah.
And so they're increments, and I love finding an app in that 1 to 5 is like a gem, but finding like a 10 to 100 or 100 to 500, whatever is like I always try to aim for that. But this week I chose one by Microsoft, so who am I to say?
You never know. Yes. So that's Goalie, a habit tracker. Check it out, and I hope it helps you create good, or maybe you want to create a bad habit. It can help you do that too. So there you go. I'm just saying. What?
Like I'm looking for something to really help me manage my heroin intake. Is this the app for me, or
it's really, really effective. So you might want to check it out if that's what you're looking for.
I need something to remind me to gamble. Could this help me do that? I'm wondering.
Oh man, I set
not a crime.
I set 3 as my goal for gambling today, and I'm only at 2. Better rush off.
Quick, you want to roll some dice? Come on, let's do this.
I'm sure there's an app for that too. AAApoll.com/217 to place your vote for your favorite app this week. Is it Office Lens, You Must Build a Boat, or Goalie? Check it out for yourself and place your vote. I know what I'm voting for. My own, because that's what I always do. But you should place your vote too and let us know. We'll check back on it next week and see how you do. I think that's it. We made it. Whew. We made it. My coffee's gone, which means I'm up for at least another 5 hours. It's going to be a good night.
You could build a boat.
I could hug a phone. I could build a boat. I could hug a phone.
There's lots of people to hug.
Yeah. Florence, always a pleasure having you on the show. Thank you so much for coming on tonight. Really
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, where can people follow your work, and what are you working on these days?
Yeah, you can follow me at greenbot.com, pcworld.com, or Twitter at @OhThatFlow.
Oh, that flow. You got anything kind of in the works right now that you want to talk about, or is it all top secret?
Tomorrow, I just put my Android Auto review up last week. That took me a long time. It's got a nifty video attached to it. And tomorrow, we've got an interview going up with Motorola's Senior Vice President of Software. So it's going to be good. We talk about bloatware.
Excellent. So, find that on Greenbot and PC World?
PCWorld.com.
Awesome. All right. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Ron, I appreciate you coming in, even though, I still kind of hate you because you were in paradise. So
the least I could do. I was only there for like 4 days, so it's not like I was there long.
I know. But it's 4 days longer than I was.
I know. Someday, Jason, you'll make it.
Someday I will do that.
It's such a
there
great
I am
photo.
again. There I am.
What are you saying there?
That was literally moments after taking my first drink. Okay, well, let me explain the background of this.
Okay.
So I went to an unfortunately very expensive resort in the Bahamas where everything is overpriced. And we arrived there, and on the first day, sitting on the beach, me and my compatriot, of my former podcasting buddy over at iFanboy, Connor, after 3 pina coladas that we had purchased from the hotel bar, Connor turned to me and goes, "I'm not feeling anything." And I was like, "Yeah, me neither." And we realized that at the resort, they only give you about that much rum in a cup that's like that much big and all that, the white pina colada stuff. So luckily for us, there's a guy on the beach named Coconut Willie who, for $7 to $10, depending on how many women in bikinis you have with you, will sell you a coconut, which you see in my hand, and he would chop it open, let you drink the coconut water, and then fill it with ice, and then fill it with rum until you tell him to stop, and then add pina colada mix. And since we were on the beach and doing nothing, we never told him to stop.
Yeah,
so that was
you?
literally my reaction after taking my first sip out of a real pina colada out of a coconut. Yeah, exactly.
So he's like the coconut guy at Dolores Park.
Yes, very much like the coconut guy at Dolores Park. But yeah, so that was my holy cow moment after drinking a real pina colada. So
yeah, okay, I'm happy I have the background. Obviously that's the guy that you got to get the hookup with.
Coconut Willie, yeah, he was our friend for the rest of the trip. So yeah, so
if you're there, look for Coconut Willie.
Yes. So you can find that photo along with other nonsense on my Instagram, which is linked from about.me/RonXO, where you can find links to me on Google Plus and Twitter and Instagram and all that fun stuff. And I will be back in studio next week. I'm actually flying in that morning, so I will be loopy. So it should be a fun show. But I will be there in studio. So, yep.
Radical. Thank you, Ron. Good to have you back. Yep. Brian, what about you, sir?
Well, first I'd like to say glad to have Ron back. I was glad I was able to find that holy cow clip because that's exactly what I imagined when I saw that photo.
It kind of looks like he's in the middle of holy cow. Yeah.
Holy cow!
He's holy cow.
I'm pretty sure that's exactly what I said when that photo was taken. So yeah,
that makes me happy then. Yeah. But yeah, I've been pretty busy with the screensavers on Saturday. Yeah. That show's been a lot of fun to do, and you can catch me on Thursdays doing Know How with Padre. He's driving across the country right now. So
I wanted to ask you, is he on the run?
Yeah, you know what? I can't give you a lot of details. It's part of the reason why I don't have a light on me right now.
Oh.
But I can neither confirm or deny that he may be bringing back a lot of fireworks with him.
Oh.
Wow. Yeah, so Know How may be blowing stuff up sooner or later. But yeah, so the next 2 weeks we've already recorded, and he left me to do all the work while he gets to go drive across the country. So, but check that out on Thursdays.
Sweet. And good work on screensavers. Between screensavers and what you're talking about with Know How, there's a whole lot of fireworks on this network suddenly.
We've got a lot of explosive content.
Yeah, that's one way to put it.
Oh,
I see what you did there. I'm just going to end it, okay? You can find me at about.me/Jason Howell. Follow my music at yellowgoldmusic.com. I do another show about Android called Android App Arena. You can find that at twit.tv/arena. This week, I'm taking a look at some Wear apps, apps for your Wear device, and a few others. So check that out, twit.tv/arena. But for this show, that's it. That's it for this week. Leave us a voicemail, 347-SHOW-AAA. You can find us, you can send us an email or a link to your video via email. That's aaa@twit.tv. We're at Android Show on Twitter. We're on Reddit. It's twitaaa.reddit.com. We've got our show notes, full show notes, and past episodes can be found at twit.tv/AAA. You can also find our episodes on YouTube and iTunes, among other places. And you can catch us live every Tuesday, 5 p.m. Pacific, at live.twit.tv. That is it for this week. We'll see you next week on another episode of All About Android.